Okay, so remember that they're changing my voice. So in Mark 4:41, it says something that's very important. It says that they were terrified. The word used is terrified. And it says, who is this that even the wind and the waves obey him? Now keep in mind, I can't stress this enough, I did not wave my magic wand and magically cause the damn wave to crash on the wharf. That did not happen. The government caused the wave to crash on the wharf. And the way is the truth and the life. I'm not going to play their game. I'm not going to lie about it, even if it would make me look good or something to some kind of magic card people or something. It says that they were terrified. They were terrified. The war on terror is something that they try to link toward black people, right? There's the sand N-words that they call that, right? They call, remember, I'm part black, part white. I'm not racist. Then they call the jungle people, the jungle bunnies, and the the N-word. The person who flew the plane on 9/11 was an Egyptian. He wasn't from Saudi Arabia. He wasn't, in terms of his nationality, he wasn't, from Yemen. He wasn't from Iraq or Syria or Afghanistan. He was from Egypt. Africa, for those of you who are confused about that. And Egypt is a place that's very important in the Bible. The word Egypt, as I'm told, is in the Bible more than the word Israel. And the first official video I ever made on YouTube was an official video in 2009 on August 31st. Was about Egypt, was about the racial controversy of Egypt, the race controversy. What race were the ancient Egyptians, right? They were mostly black, and as time went on, they became more mixed, and other races came, and that's basically what happened. And that was basically my argument. And boy, have I been vindicated since then between the logical evidence and the logical analysis I've done over time, and the government coming out with the most bogus arguments in regards to archaeological discoveries in human history. The most clearly fabricated arguments. They fabricated things. I'm sure you all see what they're doing. It's part of the occult game that the masses are playing. I'm not playing it because I'm a serious grown man, not some kind of worm who betrays God. But like I was saying, it says that the waves were being controlled. Now, I want you all to think very carefully and write down this verse. Proverbs 30, verse 4. It says, whose hands have gathered up the wind? New Living Translation. Who holds the wind in his fists? In his fists. In his what? In his fists. With righteous indignation. Not in the way that Bruce Lee fights, right? Fist of fury. But with moral intensity. Bruce Lee was agnostic, right? With moral intensity. Focused moral intensity from God. Who is the top martial artist? It's me. Who has wrapped up the waters in a cloak? We see that cloak is a cloak of zeal in Isaiah 59. Isaiah is like the main person who is said to have predicted Jesus' coming. Certainly in popular culture. In Isaiah 59, it says he wrapped himself in zeal as in a cloak. He put on the armor and garments of vengeance, wrapped himself in zeal as in a cloak, and went out there and started, waging war spiritually. So when we see this verse in Mark, we know that it's talking about martial arts. It's not talking about someone having literally walked on water. How do we know? One way we know is they're not describing martial arts in a way that is divine in the story. Where's the description? Well, it's encoded in the story. Right? He turned water into wine. No, he didn't. The wine stands for the blood that was shed by Christ, the blood that was shed by the righteous. We know that from Mass and the communion, the Last Supper. Jesus said he's been speaking figuratively as a character in the story. Well, so that's the language of the Bible, figurative? If you've been speaking figuratively, and in Isaiah it says that God wanted Isaiah to kind of do things in a way that's confusing so people wouldn't turn and be healed to be punished for their sins, then the narrators, the authors of the Bible were speaking in a way that's figurative. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. John 1. Genesis. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and he's hovering over the water, Before there's any human being made, God is hovering over the water. Unless you interpret the water correctly, right? I mean, either way, it's the case. I mean, before people there was water, right? But if you interpret it as the water is the sea of people, the people, the nations, and multitudes of languages, like in Revelation 17, where it tells us what water is. And in John, where it tells us the water is the water of the Spirit of the people, the nations, the multitudes, the languages. So what is the language of the holy people of God? It's a coded language. We can safely ascertain that. I can put into a syllogism with a major and minor premise for you and a conclusion, but you should see that I'm right. So it's pretty straightforward that what happened 3 to 4 weeks ago when I was at Westcliff in Santa Cruz, when attractive women did not want to stop and talk to me and hear me out, when the average people didn't want to stop and talk to me for the most part, few people did. When I'm being shunned like I usually am, and I'm recording that video, and I'm talking about Psalm 11, and I'm talking about the waves, and how you must understand the waves, then 3 to 4 weeks later, give or take, a wave crashes onto the wharf in Santa Cruz. Because of the response to me figuratively and spiritually gathering up the wind in my hands in my pinnacle in 2016 or so, when I struck at world record speed, and I've been fumed and poisoned a whole lot since then, kept from martial arts, but if I was allowed to recover, I could easily beat anybody, easily. Wrapping the Holy Spirit in a cloak of zeal and a cloak of passion and loyalty to God. Passion and loyalty, when focused to a point, is unmatched by any spirit out there. No matter what race you are, black, Asian, Islander, Brazilian, no matter what group you are, you wouldn't have a chance because your spirit isn't loyalty to God. You aren't the top martial artist ever possible. I am that I am. So the government, in their jealousy, the governing class responded by doing their occult game, and they trashed the tip of the wharf. And during that same storm, one person somewhere is said to have been killed. And construction workers, right? Construction, right? The wise and foolish builders were said to be thrown into the water, and it's symbolic of something. Which water? The water the prostitute sits on? Well, I suppose that depends if they rally and obey God through me in time. In fact, I'm sure of it. Because the least person who's doing the right thing is greater than the best person doing the wrong thing. It is impossible to have repented and atoned and to walk with God while cheating me out of my right to lead. That's impossible. It can't be done. You just believe that you are, if that. It is not enough to believe. One must achieve rhyme and reason. And don't let treason be the reason that you do not make it to heaven. Proof proof profound. Promotion. Who is promoted to God's right hand? Promotion. Movement. Ment meaning mind, as in the word mental. Mentality. Mentation. Is your mental A-shun and alpha-shun is your foundation built on cheating me out of my right to lead? That is a foolish builder. That is a dumbass. Are your plans built on cheating me out of my right to lead? Your marriages, your nations, your families? Is that what you're building? Your churches? Okay, so the righteous person should and would say, curses on all buildings that are built from cheating me out of my right to lead. All nations, all churches. Anything that's built on the foundation of cheating me out of my right to lead. Because that's fair and just and right.